Dresses Journal. Welcome back to our live webinar today. Today we're joined by Salon business expert Liz McKeon, and she's going to be sharing her top business advice for navigating lockdowns at the moment, whether you're based in England, Wales or Ireland. So thank you, Liz, for joining us today.
My pleasure. I'm delighted to be here and thank you for having me.
It's great to have you and it's our pleasure. So for everyone watching on our Facebook pages, or if you've joined us on Zoom, you can submit any questions you have for Liz as we chat. There will be a 15-minute Q&A at the end, so please do send these in as we go and we'll get to those questions and put them forward to Liz. But to start things off, Liz, Wales and Ireland already in second lockdowns and England is entering its second one today. How are you feeling about this news, and what long-term impact do you think it's going to have on the beauty and hair industries?
I think the biggest challenge for everybody, for all of us at the moment, is to remain as optimistic as we possibly can. And I know I've been talking throughout this year saying, we have to be positive. But it's hard to be positive. It's easy to be positive when everything is going well and we're familiar and we're doing our normal work. It's a little bit more challenging to remain positive when things are forced upon us that we don't really want. So I'm switching that word positive to optimistic. And almost in a way that to remain optimistic, that we can see we are in a little bit of a black tunnel at the moment, and it's tough and it's hard. But if we remain optimistic, we continue to see the light at the end of the tunnel. That's really the difference. And I think we've got to approach it from there is light at the end of the tunnel. Hopefully everybody will be back open, up and running for December. And I think we've got to hold on to that and realize we've, in a way, been given a few weeks now to get ready for Christmas, to take a little bit of a rest. Everybody has worked incredibly hard in very, very, very difficult circumstances this year. And I know nobody wanted this, but we have to deal with the situation that we're in. And I think the first thing is that you take a rest. I don't mean for the whole few weeks, I mean for the next couple of days, because I'm quite sure in the UK you've worked the way, we're in lockdown now here a couple of weeks, and I know everybody was just flattened because it was like getting Christmas week in and getting all your clients through. So I think you've got to acknowledge that you're probably tired now, and give yourself a couple of days to just recharge your batteries. I think that's really important. Keep your energy high. And now let's plan for an amazing end to 2020, because if we get a really strong end to 2020, we'll get a great start to 2021. So as much as possible to hold on to the optimism that it will be okay. I love that phrase, I'll deal with it. Sometimes you look forward and you say, oh, if that happened to me, we'd never cope. Like in March, if anybody had said to me, the industry is going to be shut for 4 months this year, Liz, I'd be just like, well, we won't survive, but we do. And I love that phrase, I'll deal with it. So we're here now, we'll deal with it and we'll go forward. It is what it is. We can't change it, and we have to accept it, make the most of it, and get ready to go again. And I think that's what makes people such fantastic entrepreneurs. Like entrepreneurship and running businesses, it's not plain sailing. It's always up and down and curveballs being flung at us, and you just get on with it. You're all amazing. Everybody in this industry works so hard, gives so much to their clients. And I think part of taking a little rest over the next couple of days is to actually stop and say to yourself how well you have done over the last few months, and give yourself credit for that. And just, I know a lot of people said to me, coming out of the first lockdown, oh, Liz, if this happens again, I won't be able to survive it. But you will. You absolutely will. Of course you will. Yeah. And I think also to remember that our industry now is so well positioned in the world of commerce. Maybe people weren't aware of it before, but I think now everybody knows how important you are in your customers' lives. And there's lots of other industries that won't survive this, some are doing really well, but unfortunately some industries won't come back because the demand isn't there. That is not our industry. I think our industry has been totally repositioned in the world of commerce, and that the consumer, you're just so important in your customers' lives. They wait for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So as much as possible, remain optimistic. I wish it wasn't like this. I also think, when you're told from such and such a date you're closed, then I think you know where you stand. I personally find the other bit more disruptive and more challenging is like, are we closing? Are we not? You can do this, you can half do that. I find that I find the grayness of that more challenging than you're open or you're closed, or you can get on with your business or you can't. When you know exactly what you're dealing with, I think it's more manageable.
Absolutely. And as you say, it's amazing to see how the whole industry has really adapted to these huge changes. And yeah, it's been amazing to see what everyone has done. And as you say as well, keeping a positive mindset is definitely key at the moment, isn't it?
It's very important. Yes. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So next question is, how can salon spas and perhaps even mobile home-based beauty and hair businesses navigate this second lockdown? What should they be doing during the enforced closure to help their business stay afloat?
I think there's great opportunity, and I know I'm like a broken record saying we've got to keep finding the opportunities in the challenges. And I think because in Ireland we've been closed that that couple of weeks ahead of you, the salon owners that I've been working with, it's been really interesting and actually quite helpful. And I was working with some salon owners last week, and I was saying to them, right now we've a big long to-do list here of all the things you need to do to work on your business over the next few weeks. And it seems really weird to be saying to you, if this was last year or next year, I'd be saying, wouldn't it be great to just get a month to do your list and get stuck in and do it? So downtime, no clients, the staff not there, the salon shut, gives you time to think about your business, to work on your business, not just in it, and to really decide where you want your business to go to next year. So the salons that I've been working with, if this is of any help to anybody else, what I've been doing is, right, you were closed during the summer. Now let's review how your business went since you reopened until now. And now let's take this few weeks to really get ready for the end of the year, get ready for the Christmas business, but also to review how trade was the past few weeks, the past few months. What do you need to change? What do you need to fix? What did you not get to do? What worked well? What didn't work well? What changes do you need to make? And now let's take your business to the next level. So I think it's a few weeks to really review your business, get back on your goals, whatever goals you had for your business in 2020. Obviously they didn't happen. But it doesn't mean to say that they can't happen next year. So it really is time now to dig deep and work on your business, work with your teams. And yeah, I mean, 3 weeks is going to absolutely fly. And I think it's wonderful to be reopening into your busiest time of the year. I also think the previous lockdown and reopening, you know what you have to do now in terms of your health and safety guidelines. So that's not, that was a huge pressure on everybody to figure all that out. Well, it's figured out. You know how to reopen now. Yeah.
Absolutely, great advice. And for anyone who's just joined us, please do send in your questions that you have for Liz, because we'll have some time at the end to go through them. So if you're watching us on Facebook, you can comment below, or if you're on Zoom, you can pop a question in the chat box and we'll get through to those at the end. So the second lockdown is not only really tough financially for beauty and hair professionals, but also mentally. I can imagine it's taking a real toll on people's mental health. What tools and resources can people use to keep going and remain positive as possible?
I think that's probably the first priority for everybody, is to take care of themselves and take care literally of, how do I keep myself the best version of myself? Because in 4 weeks time or 3 weeks time, everybody's going, there's going to be huge demands on me. So you've got to take care of yourself. And certainly one thing I was really aware of, and I can remember saying to so many people, like in March and April, well, at least it's the summer. At least we'll have long evenings, at least, and there were so many positives. So I think while it's similar, it's not the same. And I think the fact that it's a different time of the year, and the dark evenings and all that sort of thing, I do think we need to be much more mindful. And also, there's something about this voyage of discovery and like not knowing what we're letting ourselves in for. Like when we were put into lockdown, like, well, I didn't know what that was, and we just had to figure it out as we went along. Now we do know what it is. So and it's not to let the overwhelm of the last time, you know, impact on us this time. Yeah, we've got to take care of ourselves. So I think that's why I'm saying the first thing to do is get your energy back, have a little bit of a rest, catch back up, and maintain that. And there's something very significant about a routine. You know, routines keep us going. The last lockdown, um, you know, I had never done an Instagram live until the Friday before lockdown, and I did this Instagram live, and then I actually blurted out on this Instagram live, I will be with you every single morning at 9:15, and I switched off Instagram. I thought, what have I let myself in for? But I had this thing at the back of my mind. I'm not used to being at home. I'm not used to not having a very full schedule. And I was really worried that I would just say, this is great, and I'd get into bed and not get out of it every day till lunchtime. So I made this commitment on the internet that I would be there every single morning at 9:15. And there were mornings I got out of that bed and I cursed myself for having made that commitment, because I was now I have to get up, I have to do my hair, I have to do my makeup. You know, it'd be so much nicer to just, you know, go, you know, sit in bed and read my book. But I put the discipline on myself of having a routine every single day. And I think that is really, really important. There's a direct connection between our mental health and having a routine. And, you know, all of it, you know, all of you watching today, you all have routines and you're great with your columns and running your appointments and all that. Now this is taken away from you. And there's a real kind of opportunity now to just say, well, I can just stay at home and bake and cook and watch television and reopen again in December. And I'm not saying not to do an element of that, but I think if you down tools altogether, you're going to miss getting ready for 2021 because you're going to be so busy with clients in December. So I think a routine every day to have, before you finish work today or tomorrow, that you have your plan for the next day of things to do on your to-do list. Possibly things that we don't even like doing, like tidying up CRMs or doing rotas, or the things that we avoid but that we know need to be done. I think it's really important to give yourself some sort of routine that you say, right, I'm starting my working on my business at 10 o'clock. I'm going to take my lunch from 1 to 2, and then I start back again from 2 till 4. Or if I'm taking a day off, I'm taking a day off. But apart from that, I have work to do every single day so that I'm not back in on the floor in the second week in December saying, I wish I had done this, and life would be a lot easier if I'd attended to that, and all of that sort of thing. So there is so much to do, as we know, always with your business. Make the most of the time and give yourself a routine. Take out your diary, and I know it's not going to be filled with appointments at the moment, but fill it with work activities, and have a starting point and an ending point every day, and then enjoy the time. So a routine, and I think a routine will really keep you disciplined mentally as well. And then I think maybe look after yourself a little bit more. What are the things that you do like doing that you never really get time to do? Like, I know before we went into this lockdown, I just took this mad rush one day and got to a shopping centre where they had a really good bookshop, and I bought myself a book out for every single week to read, because I thought I hardly ever get time to sit and read a book. So now every evening I can sit and read a book. So I think plan out what you're going to do. Yeah, because you could waste the time otherwise, and you could get into bad form. And we don't have the luxury as entrepreneurs and business owners. You don't have the luxury of getting into bad form, or we just don't have it, because when your salon reopens, there's huge expectations, and your clients expect an awful lot, your team expect an awful lot, and you've got to be that powerhouse to keep the show on the road. So you've got a few weeks now to take care of yourself, take care of your business, and be the best version of yourself again when you reopen in December. Because I think what we're all coming to the conclusion, and hopefully we're all wrong, is that this could possibly happen again. And it could happen a couple of times next year. We don't know. So this may be the new norm temporarily until COVID is sorted. So it may be par for the course. So we've just got to get used to it. And I think that's an amazing entrepreneurial trait that most entrepreneurs have that don't give them, that they don't really acknowledge, is that, in business, you learn to live with uncertainty. And I think, that's what, well, for me, that's what 2020 has been about, has been the year of uncertainty, and we've had to learn to live with it and have had to learn to adapt with it. But I think the temptation now could be, oh, look, it's November, we're nearly there, I'll just go to sleep for the month. And I don't think that would be good. So eat well, sleep well, all the basics to keep your health. If you keep yourselves right physically, then we'll be right mentally as well. So make yourself the priority, take care of yourself and take care of your business, and nothing else matters.
So true. And yeah, great advice to create that routine. So using this time as like a really kind of valuable time to work on your business, but also take some time out to look after yourself as well.
Yeah.
And from a business perspective, what are some of the key things that we should be doing to get our businesses ready when we can eventually reopen again? Can you maybe highlight any challenges that could happen when we're doing this?
Yes. The biggest challenge for me as a consumer, as a customer in salons, has always been over the last number of years to get an appointment for January. Okay? In the normal course of events, and it's not going to happen next year, but normally the second week in January, I normally run a business owners retreat in the Canary Islands. So when I'm getting Christmas appointment, when I'm in the salons in December as a customer, and then I say, can I make my appointment for January, because I always need a few things done. Invariably, people say to me, "It's okay, Liz. We'll be dead in January. Ring anytime." And I'm saying, no. I actually need my appointments because I've only got one weekend because I'll be traveling. So please, can I make my appointment? It could be hair, nails, beauty, it could be anything. I'll have to ask 3 or 4 times before people will say, okay, well, you really want an appointment? Are you sure you don't want to just ring? Because we'll be dead anyway. Now, that's my experience over the last 4 or 5 years. And I think this now needs to be top of your list to change. Your clients are going to be back with you in December. Irrespective, we know you're going to have a really good December, but the health and safety guidelines are still going to be there. Please do not leave your December clients, leave your business, whether it's mobile, hair, nails, whatever it is, without their January and February appointment. Okay? Do not be shutting your salon's doors on the 24th and say, we had a good December, but I have no appointments in for January. That can't happen. It plain and simply cannot happen, because we don't know what 2021 is going to bring. But when I'm talking about finishing strong in 2020, that's what I'm talking about. You haven't finished strong if you've had a good, if your till is full. You've finished strong if Q1 2021 is looking firm in your diaries. And as a former salon owner, I know the difference between closing my salon on the 24th of June, having had a very iffy November, a really good December, and an empty January diary. And these few good weeks have got to make up for November and get me through January. That's torture. And compare that to, we're closed now for November, so not a lot we can do about that in terms of services for November, but having a really good December and a full January and February, I can breathe then on Christmas Eve, and I can say, right, we've done really well, give everybody their little bonuses, all the rest of it, have, everybody's now exhausted but a good tiredness, go home, enjoy your family, enjoy your Christmas, and we're now ready to start at full capacity again in January. So to finish strong, please rebook your clients for January, February and March if you can, and that way you are keeping your business safe Q1 for 2021. So and that's a habit that's been there for ongoing. We're really busy in December, ring us anytime in January. No, change that now. So if you have one big change to make on your floor starting back in December, make sure that your clients rebook. And maybe you might need, if you have a team, run a little competition. Whoever gets the most rebookings wins a prize. Whatever you need to do, but it's absolutely mission critical now that that quarter one looks healthy at the end of December for your own peace of mind. Yeah,
Definitely a good idea to plan ahead, isn't it, and get those appointments in so you're hitting the ground running, as you say.
really important. And so that's one thing that I think is really is critical. There's a second element to this now that we have the few weeks off. There's always been a tendency in salons that Christmas trade revolves around services only, and that's great. But there's only so many people you can fit in, and so much, so much you can make on services. But there are other revenue streams that I think you could be preparing for now in November with lockdown. So me doing my Christmas shopping online with Amazon is wonderful, but it doesn't do anything to keep my local businesses going. Okay? So me doing my Christmas shopping in your salon, so me contacting you and saying, here's my Christmas gift list, and there's 5 or 6 gifts, can you help me with those? So I think we've got to look at the retail side of things now and turn your salons into gift shops. Okay? For the next few weeks, you can't make any money from services, but you can make a lot of money from retail. And you've got to stay marketing, you've got to stay in front of your clients. I would be more than happy if any of the local salons around me sent me an email with a list of Christmas gift sets. How easy is that? And then, here we have click and collect, and I'm sure you have that as well. Wrap my products for me or deliver them. I was talking to a salon owner the other day, and she said, my living room has 2,500 euros worth of hair care products in it. My husband is like somebody from Deliveroo, and I was laughing so much. And she said, I'm just contacting my clients saying, are you okay? Do you want an appointment? And would you like any Christmas gift sets? I have my husband here ready, and he will deliver them to your door. So she has her husband, and she calls him Mr. Deliveroo. And she said he's like somebody delivering takeaways, but he's not. He's delivering Christmas gift sets of hair care products. And she said, I want that 2,500 out of my living room. So she's just phoning all her clients. I didn't get to say a proper goodbye to you 2 weeks ago. Hope you're okay. Do you need anything for yourself? Do you need? We've got amazing gift sets. Do you want me to email you the list? And I have my kids here doing the wrapping and my husband doing the delivering, and he'll drop the stuff to you if you're nearby. And if not, I'll put them in the post. That's really thinking outside the box. So she has this like little conveyor belt going on in her living room. So Christmas gift market, please take it. And I love the fact now, I love when I see on social media that people are saying, we want to shop locally. So take advantage of that. Take advantage of your gift voucher business as well. You have a few weeks now. You've got to market. You've got to keep in front of your database. So I think just reminding them, because they may not have thought of you previously as somewhere for their Christmas shopping. And I personally, and I'm sure you're the same, would much prefer to give it to local businesses. Where the business is really important. Like Amazon are doing fine. They're absolutely doing fine. They'd be okay. Your local businesses may not. But so I think remind your database that you provide this Christmas shopping gift business, and if they could help you, it helps you stay in business.
Definitely, it's an important area to tap into as well. Yeah, with Christmas, totally. So important. And the next question from me, Liz, this is quite a difficult one to answer, I can imagine. Many will be worried that the hair and beauty industries may face restrictions when the lockdown ends, like we did before. Being one of the last industries to also finally be able to get to work, what can beauty and hair businesses do right now to help prevent that situation from occurring again, perhaps?
In terms of various restrictions in various areas, yeah. This is where I think taking care of yourself is so important. And I have been getting emails quite a lot from salon owners recently about, I'm really worried about this. I'm really worried. The panic is overwhelming. And I think we've got to stop. And I have to say, well done to you for hosting so many webinars like this. I think everybody needs a little bit of support, because we can all feel like very isolated and very alone. And we can also all feel I'm the only one in this boat, but we're not. Like, there's thousands of other people in the same situation. And I know that doesn't change anything, but it does bring an element of support to it. I think you've got to be brave, and you've got to be very courageous, and you've got to face your fears down. And it doesn't matter whether fear is real or whether it's imagined. If you're battling with it, it's real. You weathered it the last time, you'll weather it this time. I think you've got to hold on to the fact that you are so important in your clients' worlds. Okay, so and clients are absolutely craving connection, they're craving interaction. So maybe I'm the client that loves coming for a skincare treatment and restrictions prevent you from doing that. But sure, I don't care. I like going to your salon. I like being with you. I like watching the floor and the theatre that goes on in your salon. I like giving you, paying you to make sure that you are still there to do the skincare treatments for me next year when we're allowed to do that. So I just want to come to your salon. So contact me and be very explicit with me and say, look, Liz, you normally came for this. Unfortunately, we're not allowed. But why don't you try such and such? You're the expert. You're the one giving me the advice. I'll do what you tell me. So maneuver your clients, because don't eliminate us because I always came for something that now you're not allowed to do. I think we've got to remember that, how isolating this year has been, how lonely people are. And I'll just turn up. I'll turn up for something else. I met a neighbour recently and she said, I was so delighted the girl I go to for threading just rang me or just sent me a text message and said, hi, so-and-so, I hope you're okay. So we will give you the business, and perhaps I can't go for what temporarily. And we've got to remember everything here is temporary. It might be going on longer than we would have liked or anticipated. It's still temporary. So if I can't visit your salon for the services I normally come for, give me an alternative. Just keep me coming to your business. I'll happily come to it because I enjoy the experience of being with you. So hold on to that. Put a shape on us, put manners on us as customers. Ring us up, tell us what we have to do, and we'll be there. Just so delighted to hear from you. Okay. And please remember that. And there's a little exercise that I do myself and that I encourage other people to do every so often. And it's to catch the worry before it becomes overwhelming, and to catch the panic before it's just all consuming. So if I sense that's building up on me, like nobody's ever going to call me again, nobody's ever, and all of that, I have to stop myself and say, calm down now, you're just being ridiculous. And I take out a sheet of paper or my notebook and I draw a line down the middle. Now, this is really useful. It sounds ridiculous, but I do encourage people to do it. And on the top, I write, on one side of the page, I write, what am I in control of? And on the other side of the page, I write what I'm not in control of. And I write down all the things I'm not in control of, like the weather, the virus, what the government telling me to do, all those things. And then there aren't actually that many. I think it's not all I'm worried about. Right, okay, I can do nothing about that. Now let's move over to the other side of the page. What am I in control of? Well, I'm in control of the time I have. I'm in control of my clients. I'm in control of working with my team. What can I do with the time? And I end up with this really nice productive to-do list, calm Liz down list over on this side of the page, and I just focus on that. So that's just a little mental habit tool that I use to just stay focused on what I can do something about, and I stay there as opposed to what I can't do anything about. And interestingly enough, what I'm not in control of, they tend to be things that are external to me. I can't change them anyway. And there's nothing I can do about it. So stop focusing on that and come back over here and stay focused and keep yourself busy. Yeah.
That's great advice. And yeah, so important to keep yourself busy and remember there are things that you just cannot control. And yeah, you have to focus on the things that you can work on and build.
Yeah. And I think, we have to be brave and put our hands up and say, and ring people and phone people and say, I'm having a bad day today. Like, this is really worrying me. And there's something really reassuring when somebody else says, oh my God, thank God you rang. I was worrying about exactly the same thing. doesn't take it away, but just to actually be able to say it out loud and just have, so I think supports in place for one another is really, really important. Yeah.
Absolutely is.
Yeah.
And how can hair and beauty business owners strive to maintain a full appointment book post lockdown? I know we touched on this a bit earlier, but is there any other tips or advice you can share to help with that?
Yes. Since, you know, in the few months that we were open, I tried to go to as many salons as I possibly could, so, you know, just to observe what was going on. Again, if they let me in early, I went early so that I could sit in reception in various places and watch. In certain places I wasn't allowed in, I had to stand outside, so it varied. And I don't mean to sound like a bit of a broken record here, but it was my observation that any rebookings that I saw happening, it was customer led. So customers were coming back to front of house, having had a service done, being with whoever, like the hairdresser, the nail tech, or whoever, for a certain length of time, coming back, paying at front of house. Then the customer was opening up their diary and saying, "Can I make my next appointment?" And I thought, well, why is that happening? You know, you've been with that person for an hour and a half. Why isn't, or whatever length of time it was, why isn't that person saying to you now to keep the nails right, to keep the hair right, and you know, with all, you know, the upheaval that COVID is bringing and the uncertainty, why don't I just book you in for your next 2 or 3 appointments? And that way, you know, if something happens, at least you're in. So, like, even November people, like, if you know, I was quite happy with my hair. I missed my November one, but sure, I'm okay because I'm in for December. So I think use this time to work with your teams. It's okay for me to say rebook, 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 but I think you've got to work with your teams to change the salon culture and to make sure that everybody understands this is what has to happen and everybody knows how to do it. It's easy for me to sit here and say rebook, rebook, but does your weakest person actually have the communication and the script to say that to clients and the confidence to know how to do it? So in order to make to make sure your columns are filled, you've got to educate your team how to do that process, and then you've also got to educate your clients. This is the way we'll be doing it here. Also, because I try and visit as many different salons as I can, it was interesting to observe how I got my instructions as a client, and the instructions that I took the most notice of were the ones that were the most direct. When people rang me and said, do this and that and the other, I was only half listening. When people sent me big, long paragraphs, I couldn't be bothered reading that. But there were a few people that actually just sent me, can't wait to see you back. Here's how it'll work from now on. Just bullet points, maybe 10 bullet points. You stand outside the door, wear your mask, bring an umbrella, and one person said, bring an umbrella and sunglasses because you are not coming in here a minute beforehand. And I had like, so when people gave me my instructions, you know, point by point by point, I thought, okay, I better do what I'm told there because they mean business. So I would think revisit how you're going to give your instructions to clients, and if you want their repeat business, tell them, you know, when before you leave, we will be, you know, we will be booking you in for, you know, January to June, whatever you like, and then teach your team how to do it.
Amazing advice. And we've now got some time to go through questions with Liz. So if you have any questions for us, then please do send them through. First question that we've had, Liz, is from Diane, and she says, does anyone know if we can claim for stock that's gone out of date? Is there anything that you know of that can help in that sense?
So actually, that was one thing was running through my mind. I work quite a lot with a lot of distribution companies and a lot of your suppliers. And I think interact with them as much as you possibly can. And they are there to help you. I've just been so, you know, overwhelmed at just how fantastic any of the suppliers have been, you know, explaining to me the supports that they have in place. And again, they're a huge resource for you. And also, you know, you're not on your own. So I would think contact your suppliers and put your hand up and say, I need help. You know, and maybe they can help you and maybe they can't, but I think go back go back to whoever you organize, you bought your stock from, and say, I need your help now to finish strong, and how can you help me for next year? And they are so willing and there to help you. So avail of it. They won't know you need help if you don't ask for it.
Definitely a good idea to speak with them, isn't it, and see what help there is available.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you for your question, Diane. Next question, what do you think of raising prices for next year? A lot of the products has risen a lot since lockdown. I raised my prices last year for the first time in 5 years by 3%. I want to do this each year. Would it be prudent to raise again by 3% for next year?
Well, I think this is the gift that's in these few weeks. You know, now you have time to think about these sort of things, to plan forward. In the normal course of events, everybody's so busy working in their businesses. A lot of make decisions too quickly sometimes. Now you have time to really think these, because these are big changes to make. So, you know, if you have an accountant who works with you, I think it might be useful to organize some time with your accountant. I think don't make rash decisions about, I'm just changing it. Now you have time to actually investigate how much it costs you to open your doors, how much it costs you to literally deliver every single service. And I think there's an exercise to be done there with your accountant, and literally work out precisely what your overheads are and how much you should be charging per service in order to make sure that every service is profitable. So I think do your work on that first of all, and most salon owners never get time to really do that exercise. And of course, we're in a very competitive world. You're in a very competitive marketplace. Everybody else is putting their prices up, and I never really understand why salons are so reluctant, because you work so hard. Please, if it's one change that you make at the end of 2020, don't do services that are actually costing you money. Make sure that every service is profitable. And if you need to put your prices up, then put them up, but put it up strategically, and you know, and have the confidence to know that this is what I need to do. And yes, go ahead and do it every year in keeping with inflation and in keeping with how your running costs are increasing, but take the financial help to do it. And then also educate yourself and educate your team about how to introduce the price increase, because it's my experience that in the salons people make this a lot more difficult than it needs to be. The price is simply the price. If I go to the supermarket today and the bread is 10 cents dearer than it was yesterday, I can take it or leave it. You know, I don't think the people in the bakery are, you know, are sitting down sort of, yeah, they just say, well, the price of bread has to go up, and they put it up, and we just go forward with that. So yeah, change your prices, but do it in a way that you're comfortable about doing it. And I think an easy way to do this is just have a 2021 price list. You know, and just hand people the price list. There's our 2021 price list, and if there's little changes in it, you don't have to apologize for it. You're amazing at your work. You're fantastic at what you do. You know, from 2020, this is the one good thing about 2020, is that every survey that was done in the world about where's the first place you want to go to after lockdown, it's the salon. There is a demand for what you do. So own your position, and your price should reflect how fantastic you are. And don't apologize for putting your prices up. They need to go up, put them up. Yeah.
Absolutely. If anything, this year has just shown the value of how much people value this industry. So you have to show that, reflect that in your prices.
Yes, you have to.
Amazing. Thank you for your question. And we've got another question here from Deborah, and she asked financial question on regarding paying your rent on your salon. Do you think landlords should be more generous on free periods, or do we owe it to them to pay on time in full as they are a business too? That's a really interesting point, isn't it?
I wish there was a one size fits all answer here, but there isn't. And everybody has, you know, is in a different position. I can't really answer that, because I might have a landlord who owns the building outright, who loves the fact that I'm a good tenant and that we have a good long working relationship together. And, you know, so I think it's worth a conversation. So that might be a plus. You know, I might rent a building from somebody who has a huge mortgage to pay, and they, you know, if I don't pay them, then they can't pay, and then everybody is jeopardized. Again, I think, you know, I know face to face, even if it is Zoom or a call, but I think put your hand up and call the person, face this fear down. You ring the person and you say, like, you know, can we have a chat? Now, maybe I won't get everything that I want. I might say, you know, say to my landlord, I don't want to pay any rent for this 4 weeks. And he might say, well, you know, I can't afford that. And maybe you meet in the middle. It's a conversation. It's a business conversation. Please don't avoid it. And I think, you know, meet in the middle somewhere, if possible. But everybody's in different circumstances in relation to this.
Definitely. I guess it goes back to what we were saying about the suppliers, isn't it? It's about having that discussion with them directly to see if you can meet in the middle in any ways.
Yes, and I think this is why it's important to know your finances and know the impact that this lockdown is going to have on you. And, you know, it might be, you know, okay, I have to pay 2 weeks rent, but, you know, can you work with me? I won't have it on. You know, if people know where they stand with you, and if you're honest and upfront and behave with integrity, you will achieve far more. Running away from things solves absolutely nothing. And it's easy for me to say, like, I'm sitting here and I think that's what you should do. You know, we've both got to see things from one another's perspective and meet in the middle somewhere, if possible.
Amazing. Thank you for your question. And a few more, we've got a bit more time for a couple more questions. Violet has asked, would it not be best to keep prices as is till next year, based on many of our clients potentially losing their jobs at the moment?
These sort of challenges, I think, are just being highlighted this year. But I think if I struggle, if I struggle with charging the right price, it's actually my struggle, not somebody else's. You're in business. We're all, you know, you're in business because you love what you do and you're brilliant at it. But there's hard commercial facts here, is that if your business isn't sound financially, then you don't get to do what you love and you put your business under pressure. So we've all got to know our value and we've got to charge our worth. Now, that doesn't mean, you know, if something should cost £30 that I charge 300 because I think I'm great. No, I think we've got to be realistic about it. And also take advantage of the fact that you're now a priority in your clients' worlds. You know, I've often found money for things that I didn't know I need, well, I didn't need, but all of a sudden I really want them. And we find the money. So you are a priority. You are a priority in your clients' worlds, and you know that now. But also the feel-good factor that people have when they have been to your salon, when they have spent half an hour with you, 15 minutes, whatever it is, what you charge for that doesn't come next or near how people feel when they walk out of your business. And you've got to own your own value. You've got to know that there is a value on that. If somebody, and I know this sounds awfully cruel, but if somebody has lost their job, me charging a 5 or more or 5 or less doesn't really change things that much in their world. So you've got to be commercial about this, and you've got to know what it costs you. And, you know, if you don't charge the right price, then you're compromising your own business and you're compromising the jobs if you employ other people. That doesn't mean to say that you wouldn't have, and I'm not really in favor of discounting, but that you wouldn't have, you know, special offers, or that you wouldn't say to somebody, look, you know, that you wouldn't give something extra there without charging them for it, and just be flexible on that. But I don't think you can hold your own business back because of other people's circumstances, because you just jeopardize your own business, your own peace of mind, and other people's jobs. Your price is the price. You know, I can decide, am I shopping in Harrods Food Hall for my groceries, or am I going to Lidl? I'm still going to get my groceries, but I don't expect Harrods Food Hall to charge me little prices because I'm having a tough time. And that sounds harsh, but business is not easy. Business is harsh. So I think take your advice from your accountant, and your pricing is your pricing.
That's great advice. And we've got probably time for one more question. And from Jenna, who says, where do we stand with clients wanting deposits back for treatments booked in lockdown? She says that her sites are non-returnable. And obviously I'd like to encourage people to keep on account, but if they're adamant they want it back, what should they do?
I've always found that the most successful salon businesses that I work in are the salons that have the most systems and processes in place. And I think the more you have in writing, the easier it is to implement things. I kind of struggle with this one. I get where the client is coming from. I paid you for a treatment in November, and now you're locked down. So that wasn't my fault. So give me my money back. But if you have to give a whole month's deposits back, what's that going to do to your business? So it might mean looking at your terms and conditions, and again, maybe you send those out with the instructions. And we're all learning as we're going through 2021. If you're going to take deposits and then in March next year we're locked down again, are we going to be in the same thing? So I think you learn from it this time, and you change your wording on your terms and conditions, and you stand over your terms and conditions after that. My gut instinct on this one would be, if I was the salon owner and people were pestering me for deposits, I think at a certain point I might give some back, but I would never want that client in my salon again, because why are you upsetting me more than I'm already upset? So rightly or wrongly, I think I would have a bit of a sour taste in my mouth about a client that would put me under that much pressure. I think in my terms and conditions, I would have, if we have to cancel your appointment due to unforeseen circumstances, due to the government lockdowns, then we just transfer that over to your appointment within a 3-month period. So I think put it into your terms and conditions, police your terms and conditions as much as you possibly can. And human nature being what it is, I don't think I'd be too happy to see that client again. You're working hard, you've done great to keep your businesses open, and I think it's a little bit, it's understandable, but I think it's a little bit unfair. But
Great.
Amend your terms and conditions after this if you need to. Yeah.
Amazing, great advice. And I think that comes to the end of our session, but thank you so much, Liz, for joining us and sharing all your advice.
Enjoyed it so much, thank you.
It's been brilliant to have you, and we've had so many comments saying how helpful it's been, and you've given so much great advice. So thank you so much for joining us.
Not at all, and I hope everybody has a nice few days, a good rest, and get ready for a bumper December.
Amazing. And for everyone watching, we will be uploading this video to YouTube, and it'll also be on our Facebook channels as well. So if you've missed some of it, you can rewatch it back. But thank you everyone for joining us, and we'll see you again next time. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.